Well, Nathan, the Premier said he'd only really learned about what happened with Chris Scott as he was in the parking lot right before that news conference. Here is what we do know. Now, Chris Scott was first elected to the provincial legislature back in February, representing Sault Ste. Marie. We heard from Sault Ste. Marie police in the last half hour or so that he was arrested by Toronto police yesterday with their help or based on an investigation out of Sault Ste. Marie. Exactly what he has been charged with, nobody is saying at this point. Sault Ste. Marie police say they're not releasing more to protect the privacy of any victims. We do know that the Chris Scott was asked to remove from PC caucus quickly. He was an associate or parliamentary assistant to the Minister of Energy. This news conference by the Premier really took on a justice bent. He was asked about a recent tour of an encampment in Barrie that was dismantled over the weekend. The Premier used that moment to really talk about the need for reforms of the justice system at the federal level. Here's what he had to say.
I'm done with the crime. The federal government has to get their butt moving on bail reform, Young Offenders Act, mandatory sentencing. I can tell you one thing, it's always the economy and healthcare. When we do our polling, crime is right beside it now. People are done with it. So we're going to clean that up. But the federal government has to change the criminal code. They have to stop dragging their feet and start moving on this. We want our communities back. We want our towns back and our cities back. And I'm not going to let less than 1% of the people hijack the whole system. I'm done with it.
The Premier Solicitor General has written to the federal government today to really underline that point. The federal government has promised new legislation some point over the fall session, but we don't know exactly when that's going to be announced. Reporting live from Queen's Park, I'm Siobhan Morris. Nathan and Michelle, back to you.
Thank you, Siobhan.